You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming, and somebody mounts the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with another Let's Play episode of Devil's Gambit. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alrighty. Can we help him? The earlier we finish our job, the earlier the Duke will let him go. In the meantime, your friendship might help him get through these difficult times. Keep being kind to him. That said, that's no excuse to keep secrets. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Dad. That was my first successful lie. But Dad said bugged me. I knew little about reason then. It concerned researchers rather than practicing doctors, so he didn't teach me about it. But knowing the learned friends he had, I figured his words made sense. If they made sense, and what was bothering me? I had forgotten about it until now, but I remember it. That nagging sensation in the back of my head, and now I have an idea. Suppose Kagan was reacting to the abnormal situation he'd been put through. Who's to say the reaction started with him choking when nothing obstructed his throat? Wouldn't it make more sense that if that was the end, rather? What happened when every other defense had been overwhelmed? But if so, where did Kagan and this response start? It made me nervous, but Hector, you already have an answer to that question. You've seen what he's like in town. Then why did he let me follow him into the alley? Maybe there's more left to the old Kagan than I realize. Well, you won't get anywhere worrying all by yourself. Wanted to ask him about it. You know it's not a good idea, but you might need this, no matter the result. I don't know, I'm too nervous. Would picking a day to talk to him help? How about the day of the leaf burning festival? Perhaps that will do, yes. Perhaps. Journal entry, Act 1, Chapter 10. A Talk with the Duke. Duke Nukem. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of gum. Let's see, reason. Okay. We don't understand the fifth layer, but nonetheless, things can go awry with it, and we need to treat those diseases as well. This is what it must have been like being a doctor before Karina. No prismillium to help you, needing to derive answers just using your intelligence and eyes. It makes me wonder how things would change if we came to understand it. After how my first visit went, I'm not thrilled to return to meet again with Manoel. But with my first payment drawing closer comes the realization that it will be necessary since I failed to explain my situation and what I want to do with the money. I don't wish to provoke that sudden rage again. When the guard comes back and says that Manoel will see me, it's like I'm about to tread into the edge of a pit. A single misstep means taking a plunge into the abyss. Thankfully, there aren't any wax models in his study today. Manoel is in deep thought as he writes something down, but he gets up from his desk to greet me when I arrive. It's you. What do you want? Greetings, Your Grace. It's an honor to be in your presence again. I wanted to talk about my payment. Is it possible to have part of it delivered somewhere else? It depends. Where do you want to send it? Second, y'all. I am going to fill my water up. Beautiful baby blue. Alrighty. Oh, that is so good. Oh my god. Back to my Aunt Nora in Oberlin. My hometown needs the money, you see. How far is it? Oh, it's quite the way away. It took me a little over 3 weeks to get there. My fingers are trembling. Please don't refuse to do this now, not when I've already wasted so much time. I can't move the money myself, and I don't know anyone who could reliably transport it. However, the Duke shrugs. That's all. Very well, it will be arranged. How much of your payment are we talking about? A half? A fourth? Half? The Duke calls for the guard still waiting outside and repeats what I told him. The man assures him he'll see it done before excusing himself in a hurry. Is that all? Actually, Your Grace, there's something else. Come out with it, then. I'm expecting somebody else today. I don't know if you're aware, but 9 years ago your father kept a young wolf here as a guest. His eyebrows furrow, and I brace internally for him to lash out at me. Instead, he shoots back a question in a confused tone. 9 years ago? I'm afraid back then I was still in the middle of my world tour, studying under the guidance of many doctors of great renown. I believe I heard my father took in a few guests while I was away, so there was a child among them. You might be mistaken, but let it slide, Hector. The important part is not contradicting him. His Grace back then, Duke Leopoldno, hired my father to look into the child's condition, but our findings were inconclusive. I wondered if you could shed some light on what the illness was. Interesting. Let's take a stroll while we talk. Take a stroll while we walk, no fucking shit. Our steps echo in the mansion's hallways. To make it brief and out of respect for Kagan's privacy, I only described the cyclical lethargy symptoms in the tests Dad performed. The Duke is interested only in that, anyway. Speaking of Dad, I feel grateful to him right now. I wouldn't be able to hold my tongue in face of the Duke's arrogance if not for his education. My oh my, Father was expecting too much out of some backwater town's witch doctor. Sleep disorders like these are very unusual, but it's nothing unheard of. His insulting Dad makes my heart sink and my blood heats up, but no, I need to keep my composure. You're a coward, Hector, but that's not always a bad thing. Cowardice can be a means of survival. I swallow every defense of my father, every insult aching to be hurled back at the Duke, and coldly move on to my next question. And what about the periods of weakness? That can be a symptom as well, though I admit it's peculiar that it happened at a certain time of the day. Kagan called it cyclical lethargy, yes? Perhaps you were dealing with a new disorder. I'll have to consult with my colleagues if there's precedent for such a thing. His curiosity ignited, Manoel mumbles to himself about who he should write to. Maybe I'm pushing my luck, but I need to ask him one more question. Sorry to interrupt your Grace, but what about the prosmelium readings we received? Are those normal in these sleep disorder patients too? No, they aren't, but the irregular readings might have been unrelated to the cyclical lethargy. It would make the most sense, assuming they weren't a mistake on your father's end. Boy, that guy is really going ham on that piano in the background. I'd like to examine the wolf in question, but I assume that isn't possible, as I haven't caught wind of any resident with a mysterious disease. I'm afraid so, yes, he's gone. Even if Kagan was still sick, I wouldn't direct the Duke to him. It's plain to see Manoel's interest veers towards research rather than healing. We are approaching the study when the Duke notices my eyes trailing off to the portrait of the sad-eyed lioness. Beautiful, isn't she? Who is she? Grandfather's first wife, Lady Josephina. It's nice to have a name for her after so long and to have something to remember her by besides her sadness. Your grandmother, then. She's beautiful. Not quite my grandmother. We are separated by too many generations. After a moment, I blink and turn to him. I don't understand. I might come from a backwater town, as the Duke put it, but even I know that his kingdom's rules are that the male firstborn inherits his father's rank. He tacitly confirmed being related to Lady Josephina, which means the only person between them should be Leopoldino. Manoel shows me one of his rare smiles, but it only makes me more uncomfortable. Do you not know of my family's history? Come, I will show you. Back inside the study, he retrieves a tall, framed parchment labeled Dinastia Gloriosa de Ristoracco Gonzaga de Farinca e Burgundia e Venecia. There's a bunch of tiny portraits and names on it, arranged and connected in a manner reminiscent of a family tree. I say reminiscent because the connections are more akin to a spider's web than a tree. Many of the lines are inked in different colors for better readability, but I still don't know where to start. While the Duke is going off about his great-great-something grandfather, I'm just trying to find where he is in this mess. Here he is, Manoel, and then it's his mother. But where's Leopoldino? My eyes grow wide as I go up a staircase of lionesses, all mothers of the last, and all looping back to where Leopoldino is, 3 spaces above where you'd expect to see him. Also, the one he had his first daughter with was his sister. I don't dare look up further, but what little I glean tells me it's even worse. Whatever you do, Hector, don't say what's on your mind. I'm saved when a guard knocks and announces the next guest is already here. The lion clears his throat and holds the family web to his chest. You will have to leave. I have confidential matters to attend to with my other guest. Such a shame. Let's continue this delightful conversation another day. Right, of course. I won't take any more of your time, Your Grace. Such is the relief that washes over me after I leave the study that, upon reaching the lower floor, I almost miss an old wolf being escorted down the hallway to my left. His limping reminds me of Finbar. He must have received that injury during one expedition. I suppose it makes sense the Duke isn't meeting him in his study. Dad was a witch doctor in his eyes, and he's only spared me of that label because I used some of his inventions. Whatever he thinks of the wolves must be horrible enough to sink my heart into new depths. It makes me wonder why this wolf is meeting with the Duke, but my desire to leave outweighs my curiosity. As I leave the mansion behind, my thoughts trail back to Lady Josephina. It's no wonder her eyes reflected such sorrow. If seeing the web on paper was horror, I can't imagine being there as it was weaved. New journal entry has been unlocked. Act 1, Chapter 11, The Leaf-Burning Festival. Okay, let's take a look at that journal real quick. Aunt Nora. Dad wasn't on the best terms with Auntie. As far back as I remember, they always argued about the current lord and the old tyrant and all that. She raised me until Dad decided I was ready to study medicine. She's in charge of Oberlin Slaughterhouse. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. The dark overtakes everything as I keep staring at my room's ceiling. I'm almost shaking under all 3 bedsheets, unable to withstand the cold any longer. It disappeared for a while after the visit to the Eye Valley, only to return 2 nights ago. I've wandered away from the fire for too long, though it might be more accurate to say the embers have gone cold again. There's much keeping me busy during the day, enough that I don't notice it. It's only when I'm here alone, wishing to be elsewhere with someone at my side, that I tremble. The leaf-burning festival had seemed close when picking it to talk with Kagan, but the nearer it draws, the longer the nights become. No matter how long I close my eyes, thinking about what to do and say keeps me awake. Oh, Kagan, I really liked it when you stole my food, used me as an armrest, and suggested we do dangerous things all the time. Can you do that again? Absurd. Eventually, I tire of the fuzzy chaos behind my eyelids and choose to stare at the ceiling instead. That's when it spreads to my back, and my nerves stir as if I am lying on a bed of nails. It is until exhaustion overtakes me what has to be the slowest, most torturous lullaby. Except today it's too much. I'm sick of the ceiling, of these sensations. I throw the bedsheets back, they do nothing anyway, and head out. From the upper floor, I see movement behind the bar. A lone lamp illuminates Arwell's form. He's drinking some beer. The dragon looks my way when I finish descending the stairs, squinting before gasping in surprise. Actually, I'm going to give him an Irish accent. Friend, what are you doing up so late? I couldn't sleep. Do you usually drink at night? Yup. Want some? I'd like to just sit down. Arwell gulps the drink down, and after letting out a satisfied begins cleaning the mug. What ails you, friend? Who knows? What is ailing you to be drinking at night? Just the usual. Everybody's so unhappy as of late. It's difficult to see my clients with such long faces despite my efforts. That, and no one has been capable of taking me in years. And believe me, brave souls have tried. His breath reeks of alcohol. That definitely wasn't the first mug he downed tonight. Maybe you should summon a succubus. I'm sure it would welcome the challenge. Succubus? What's that? I once read in a book there are demons that offer mortal sexual favors. The ones that seek to be penetrated are called succubus. Well, that same book also warned never to fuck one, since there are too many risks, but it might be worth it in your case, no? Ha! Giving up my soul to a demon or never fucking somebody again. Which one's worse? Options. The dragon makes a thinking gesture before pouring himself another mug. But no, even if it didn't take my soul, I don't want a one-night stand with a demon, no sir. Arwell is at the age where he's looking for a committed relationship. Betting on a talented foreigner to show up one of these days? Not exactly. It's true that no one can take me, but never did I say that's a requirement. I don't even prefer it, to be honest. Gilded scales glint behind him as his tail shakes, dragging against the wood behind. Oh! Though I wouldn't mind if that talented foreigner were to show up. If he was anything like you, with that plump build and pleading eyes, it'd be my pleasure to clap his cheeks. Jesus, Arwell. I've heard dragons can sense changes in body temperature. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but right now I hope it's a lie because I don't want Arwell to notice how hot my face has gotten. Is he teasing me or is he so drunk that he's babbling nonsense? Dragons don't have that much alcohol resistance, right? No, I don't. Alright, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Kate Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Trezum Guy. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if you all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!